earlymorningmob.com. Like how I timed that one out. This is the Golden Debate Show. I'm in a cubicle kind of. I'm using my recording isolation booth. It's not because I don't want to see Tone or Capo's face. And the thing is called Happy Hour, so it has to do with being out of your cubicle and living it up out of your slave job. It has nothing to do with that. I might be recording later, so I just put it on this time. So tell them where to go, Tone.
So I did what
That in the booth. So Cap's doing his homework, writing down some of our albums so we can put it on the website. You can check it out, earlymorningmob.com. And we're about to kill these vampires. Big media, spread the truth, baby. It's contagious.
The golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show. Golden show, wow. Golden debate show. We gon' talk about this, talk about the golden debate show. Yeah, the golden debate show. Golden show, wow. Golden debate show.
So these next series of clips are all about kind of happy hour and how a lot of people are doing jobs that they don't want to do, and we all can agree with that.
Well, this is a tough issue because this is impacting probably your husband's relationships with his colleagues, maybe even his productivity. Not that he's getting work done there, but it creates kind of that camaraderie with colleagues that can be really vital to somebody's success.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got a good point because organizational life has a culture of its own, and there are official relationships, and then there are the kind of personal, relaxed, more loyal.
So you've got to discover what is it for you that kind of be all right within your comfort zone. Maybe that he does that once a week, or
maybe that he goes to the bar but he doesn't drink, you know,
right.
And that you understand that he's going to be faithful to that commitment.
Or maybe even that he meets you there 30 minutes later or something else. But whatever it is, you got to find out something creative that you can do to kind of accommodate what may be almost an unspoken expectation at work that will still be in your comfort zone, right?
Yeah, I think you have to just ask him questions and help and understand the role that informal kind of connecting time plays for him. He may feel like, you know, a promotion is riding on it, but it also may be that he's become really close to the people he works with and you're feeling left out of his life. And that happens sometimes. The office can become kind of like the new neighborhood, and you know, these people are on projects together, and there's a certain intimacy.
The truth about happy hour.
Happy hour, a period of the day when drinks are sold at reduced prices in a bar or restaurant.
Happy hour generally starts around 5 p.m. on weekdays. Why 5 p.m.? Because that's when the average worker gets out of their 9 to 5 job. What, you weren't happy from 9 to 5? Happiness only starts on happy hour? It takes a lot of work to cultivate a life where you are happy always, where contentment and an appreciation and a sense of enjoyment in life follows you around every second of the day and doesn't rely on a designated happy hour for fulfillment, where you don't have to have this never-ending little frickin' doggy treat biscuit.
I have two words for you.
At the end of the day.
Predator drones.
I'll get my salvation. My salvation will be.
You will never see it coming.
Oh, this job I hate. You know, this job is tough. I don't like it very much, but hey.
You think I'm joking?
A nice, chemically numbing beverage called alcohol waiting for me when I get out of work at 5 and happy hour begins. Happy hour. It's happy hour because you're out of work, which you don't like, and now you're numbing yourself to the fact that tomorrow you have to wake up and go back to the job you don't like. It takes an incredible amount of self-esteem and drawing the line in the sand of what you will and will not tolerate in life. It takes an incredible amount of that to cultivate a life where every second is enjoyable, where you can live wholeheartedly and fully in the present moment and be complete and content with that. And these are choices you have to make on a daily basis everywhere. Always have to be making these choices. You have to be making these choices when a friend of yours says a joke you don't think that's funny.
Their mac and cheese.
You can't fake laugh at the joke because you don't want him to think You don't want them to feel bad. That sounds really trivial, right? But that is one symptom of the self-sacrifice that leads us to jobs we hate, to lives we don't like, and to an existence where we constantly have to numb ourselves chemically, whether it's during happy hour with freaking alcohol, or if it's with prescribed medical drugs like antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. Right? So it's about choices, the choices you make on a day-to-day basis, whether it's small things like your friends want you to go out to do this, but you don't really want to do it. Well, you can't do it. You have to choose not to do it. If you do, every time you do something you don't really want to do.
So this is the No Agenda show on the Golden Debate Show. We heard this the other day at work, Tone. This is pretty crazy about Connecticut.
Includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood.
A clip from the Connecticut Freedom of Information Commission. And this is literally taken from one of those committee meetings that's on like public access cable. Where
can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
I want to mention to the listeners out there that we are the only podcast that I know of, or broadcaster of any sort, that actually played the 911 tapes.
Right.
Nobody would play these tapes. The tapes had absolutely nothing on them. And it was by playing them that you realize that this all was something was wrong with this picture, because everyone wouldn't play the tapes. Why?
Okay. Shut up, Marty. This is science.
First thing I'll do is I'll read a little bit from the Hartford Courant. A state task force that spent months studying how to best balance victims' privacy and the public's right to know, on Friday proposed new limits on what records must be disclosed to the public under Connecticut's Freedom of Information Act. And in a 15-2 vote Friday, the panel approved 4 recommendations, the most significant of which would restrict public access to crime scene media, including recordings of 911 calls, dispatch tapes, and photos or videos depicting homicide victims. Members of the public could view the media and obtain transcripts of recordings, but would be prevented from obtaining a copy. Now, what is interesting, the closing of this report, the 2 members of the panel who voted against the report were Colleen Murphy, Executive Director of the Freedom of Information Commission, and the veteran newspaper editor James Smith, and they're all on this
why
panel.
would you do that when
and
I was supposed to record?
The whole thing is about 15 minutes. I only clipped about a minute 15 from it. It's the most pertinent.
Third one, activation.
And I think I have to tell you up front, in case you can't really follow along too well, because the audio is a little crappy. They are ready to vote on this this document, and this woman, Colleen, says, "Yeah, hold on a second. But we never discussed or voted on these 4 points, which basically say if anyone within the legislature, within Connecticut, does copy something, well, she doesn't say Sandy Hook, but does copy anything under Freedom of Information Act that is not allowed, it is a Class D felony and you will go to jail for 5 years. She said, we never discussed this. And this was slipped in, and she catches it, and they wind up railroading it through, obviously.
I have something to add. Go ahead, Mr. Smith. I frankly don't recall any discussion on any of those items. There were some documents, but no one here in this room discussed any of those items that Colleen is referencing. We did not, for example, discuss that it would be a crime to copy a document. It was never discussed.
I think it was. I don't know. I don't recall specifically voting individually on each of these 8. I think we voted overall, but I certainly remember conversation about each of those items. Let's take a look at the minutes. Barbara, can you look at the minutes from that meeting? Or do you still have the floor?
Well, I would argue that. Well, I would state that that's precisely my issue. The discussion about a Class D felony was in the legislative language that was proposed, not in the concepts that were voted upon. If that had been discussed, I certainly would have had a lot to say about whether a Class D felony for that type of violation of law would be appropriate. So anyway, that's the heart of my objection. I think that in recommendation 2, we've gone a little bit not a little bit, quite a bit further from the concepts that were voted upon.
So this is the executive director who's saying this was not in the minutes. You slipped this in. We never voted on it. And if you watch the whole video, they go on to say, okay, well, you can make an amendment. And she says, I want to amend that these be taken out. And, of course, everyone else is like, no, we're voting on it. It's all good. So effectively, anything Sandy Hook related is locked up. It's done.
According to ed.m.wikipedia.org, Connecticut is the southernmost state in the northeastern region of the United States known as New England. It is bordered by Rhode Island to the east, Massachusetts to the north, New York to the west, and Long Island Sound to the south. Its capital city is Hartford.
By so many people at so many levels. I mean, many of these deconstructions go way beyond what we did. That it's academic at this point. And now, I mean, yeah, there won't be that book. I guess this is probably just to stop the book writer.
Yeah.
From, because there's always at some, 5 years
early morning mob.
Blows the lid off the whole thing, and that's not going to happen. It's just going to be forgotten completely, swept under the carpet.
So there was a big argument in New York.
I think, to become a nexus for these sorts of things, because now you're anybody that dreams up some conspiracy. You are good to go in Connecticut.
Yes, Connecticut is your state. Exactly. You want
to see more
it's
action.
Pentagramish like, but there's really dead bodies down in the drain.
We're going to spot Connecticut at least once or twice more.
Would you please put that in the book?
Yes,
I think that's book worthy, and I think they should change their license plate to Connecticut. The anything goes when you want to kill someone state. Will that fit on the license plate? Big argument.
Trip in 5 weeks to Ukraine and my days in Kyiv earlier this week.
And she goes on to talk about, how happy she is and how they've put in $5 billion. But this is the interesting thing. This is the U.S.-Ukraine Foundation. You know me and foundations, John. I love looking these guys up. Why is she talking at the U.S.-Ukraine Foundation? Who's in the U.S.-Ukraine Foundation?
Any usual suspects?
Gee, first why don't you go to usukraine.org and I'll tell you who the major funders are. We gratefully acknowledge our major financial supporters. Baker McKenzie. Baker McKenzie, of course, the Chicago law firm run by the now IMF head French woman. Whatever her name is. Yeah, that one. The Coca-Cola Company, ExxonMobil, Heritage Foundation, Mary Kay Corporation. Got to bring some makeup to those people.
Yeah, those girls, they need it.
Raytheon. Where are you? System Capital Manager, TNK BP. Ukraine American Court. There's a whole bunch of other NGOs in here. The Washington Times. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Chevron, of course, in here, and who else is in here? And there's a lot of individuals, but yeah, it's all the usual subjects. Interestingly,
so this next clip is actually I'm killing two birds with one stone. It's a Reverend Manning clip and a Young Turk clip.
They wanted to chime in on this whole discussion about gay rights.
He goes crazy on the Young Turks for calling them out.
According to ed.m.wikipedia.org, ATLAH stands for All the Land Anointed Holy, which is Manning's name for Harlem. Manning's congregation, ATLAH Worldwide Missionary Church, is the former Bethelite Missionary Baptist Church.
Why are they going to take the black men? Like, wouldn't the black men have to agree to it? Is he worried that perhaps he would agree to it?
There's so much ridiculous fear among the gay community. And again, you hit the nail on the head. It's always because they're worried that they are going to do homosexual acts because they have thoughts and desires similar to that.
He's saying, if homosexuals are released into the public, well, obviously I'm going to have sex with them. So you got to watch out, women. Because I would rather have sex with that dude, apparently, and a homosexual demon than you. That's in essence what that sign is saying.
Now, the pastor of this church is actually an old friend of ours. His name is James David Manning, and we had a little bit of a Twitter feud with him. Not a Twitter feud, a YouTube feud, I should say. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely great. But before we get to that, I want to tell you what he said to the press. He says, it's an attempt to save the black family. There's a major problem in the black family.
No, really, this is funny. It's going to be worth it,
absence of black fathers, black husbands. Oh, yeah, and that has everything to do with gay people.
I don't think they're running off sex with homosexual demons. I think that there might be another issue there. I'm not sure Manning.
You will never see it coming.
Yeah.
This guy's not only been going after us, but going after President Obama for a long time. That's his way of trying to get attention. He's the guy who said,
I'm joking.
Long-legged Mac Daddy. That's what he called Obama. An insult that I still haven't quite figured out.
I didn't realize he called Obama that.
Yeah, among many different things that he called.
He kind of is a Mac Daddy, though.
I guess in a good way.
Yeah.
And I don't know what would be the downside of being long-legged.
No, there are no downsides. There are no downsides to that. Anyway, so let's go back and remember the feud that we had with him. It was absolutely hilarious. He made all these negative videos about us, and the first one was when he questioned what the name of our show was. Take a look.
This group, the Young Turks, who are they anyway? I mean, are they people from Turkey, or are they some sort of a street gang? I mean, I've never heard, I don't even, this guy's name, I think his name is Sink Uger. What kind of name is that anyway? I mean, where is he? Where was he born? Was he born in the Baltic somewhere? Bosnia? Was he born on some other planet? Why did he get a name like that in the first place? And then the name Young Turks. Why don't they speak English, whoever they are?
How would you have understood what we said if we weren't speaking English? Okay. And he's like, Young Turks, where's he from anyway? Bosnia?
He said your last name perfectly, which I kind of give him a little credit for, right? Okay. But not the first name.
Okay.
All right.
If you put 2 and 2 together, you might have come up that I was born in Turkey, but all right. keep trying, brother.
The next video, he talks about you specifically, Cenk. Can't wait. Take a look.
Can't wait.
I don't know if this guy's name is Sink. Maybe his name is 50 Cent. 50 Cent. Is his name 50 Cent? What's it? Cink, C-E-N-K. Maybe it's 50 Cent. Maybe it's spelled wrong. It should be a T at the end rather than a K. And we call him 50 Cent. And then they call him Euchre. I don't know. Maybe it's Bob. Maybe it's Bob Euchre his daddy.
This guy is really, really dumb, right? Like, he's extremely stupid.
I know. EarlyMorningLive.com show? Yeah. Go to EarlyMorningLive.com, Golden Debate Show.
Scary.
Yeah. Okay, just to clarify, Bob Euchre is not my daddy. Okay. Nor am I 50 Cenk. Although that's kind of fun.
There's more.
The C is pronounced like a J, Pastor Manning. It's Cenk. Okay. I know it's Turkish/Bosnian, but.
So in the next video, he has more questions about your ethnicity. Take a look.
Okay.
Well, I can't say these because these are 2 white people. I guess this guy's white. He looks like he's an Arab or something. He looks like he got some black blood in him, this guy's saying, because he's really brown skin. Let me put the 2 of us together, see who's the darker skin, me or this guy Sink. He's probably passing for white anyway.
Okay.
Who's the darkest? Who got the darkest skin?
What difference would it make if I had darker skin than you? But you can say he's got many layers of self-hatred. Yeah. Like why would it be like, so if I'm darker, is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Right? I don't know what his point is.
But it's hard for me to figure it out since I'm an Arab Bosnian. I don't know what the Sink is.
So he had not only an issue with Cenk, but he also had an issue with JR. He felt that JR was kind of selling out to work at the Young Turks. So let's hear what he had to say about that.
This guy JR, let me say a word about him. I don't know where he got his name. JR Jackson. He's this guy, Chink's Tonto. So you can call Chink the Long Ranger, and this guy JR, call him Tonto because he's a sidekick.
We've been calling JR JR since. That was better than 50 Cent.
Oh, God. And he has a problem with the fact that JR or JR has dreads.
But let me go back to this guy, JR. I see he's got all them dreadlocks in his hair. I said, well, you know what? Can I tell you something about black men that wear dreadlocks? They want people to think they're bad. Because the Rastafarians were the first one came out with that, all the rest of black people were wearing process. They were having their hair cockaline. But the Rastafarians, Haile Selassie and all that crowd down in Jamaica and Ethiopia, they're the ones who came up with the dreadlocks. And then if you saw a man in dreadlocks, you say, well, black man, he must be really tough. And so scaredy cat, sissified black men wear dreadlocks because they want everybody to think they're tough.
Well, I didn't know that about JR. He might also be a long-legged Mac Daddy. This guy's got a lot of theories, man.
He does. And then finally, he has a theory about me getting hired for the Young Turks. This is my absolute favorite video.
Okay. See, there I am, and there he is. Who's the darkest? Who got the darkest skin?
How ignorant is this man? This is like Debbie Schlussel ignorant, okay? And that's pretty damn ignorant. Really, you're going to put up two different pictures and compare skin color?
But what's hilarious...
Now listen. Jink, I was going to let this go. I was going to hang up my rock and roll shoes and not deal with y'all anymore because I suspect that you just want to use me to build an audience for yourself to try to get yourself some sort of popularity. But now I was not going to respond. But let me tell you why I'm responding now. You know, this woman, whoever she is, called me ignorant 3 times in a matter of 2 seconds. Let me say something to you, you little twit. You need to understand your contributions to this show are your boobs and not your brains. You call me ignorant. Who do you think you are? I mean, just because you want to try to make yourself look good, call me ignorant? Well, keep focus on the fact of why you're on there. Your boobs and not your brains.
He really likes my boobs.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but he did notice them, right? I think he's probably a little bit more concerned about the homosexual demons.
Not only did he notice it, and by the way, total coincidence that I'm wearing the exact same sweater.
I know, I was going to say that. That's funny. Okay. Or is it a coincidence, Pastor Manning? Come up with a theory on that one.
No, but what I absolutely love
Young
about
Turk,
it is...
a member of a revolutionary party in the Ottoman Empire who carried out the revolution of 1908.
Okay, so late breaking news yesterday was that... Oh no, Russia's invading Ukraine.
I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, Tone kind of peeped that. A lot of people in alternative media side was kind of saying that, yeah, they're bringing back stuff from Sochi, whatever. They've been had stuff in that sea part of that region for like 30 fucking years, 20 years now.
Claims documents leaked by Edward Snowden provide, quote, incontrovertible proof that an alien or extraterrestrial intelligence agenda
they leak out the Edward Snowden right before this, just to like,
one Washington Post blogger wrote that while the story is entertaining and filled with
late breaking news, there's war, Russia.
Quote,
Early morning mob.
What are you learning, Will? Tone Wolf, what are you learning over there?
Different nations or states are different groups within a nation or state.
Pictures there.
What are we learning, Wolf, in the situation
Russian
room?
troops dressed in civilian clothes surrounding military and commercial.
They're not coming back from Sochi.
In Crimea right now. All of this escalating, forcing the President of the United States only within the past couple hours or so to go into the White House briefing room and issue a strong warning.
The science is in!
The President is clearly concerned right now, and if his aides are telling our White House correspondent Jim Acosta that they may actually consider boycotting the G8 summit in Sochi, Russia in June. That's a huge deal.
That's right. The president said there would be costs. He'd impose substantial costs, and now they're beginning to define what those costs are. So they might not attend Sochi. Now, granted, it's 4 months from now, but this is a marquee event for the Russians in Sochi, on the side of the Olympics. And that would be a big deal. Now, particularly if you could get some of your allies to join in. Just recently, in the last hour, we had the Britain's ambassador to the UN also condemned the deployment of troops inside Ukraine, saying the United Kingdom believes that any newly deployed troops that do not answer to the Ukrainian government should withdraw. Now, if you could
don't look over here. Nothing to see here. Look at that.
The G1 or the G2, and that's a good deal. The White House has also referenced that the Russians had wanted to reach out for improved economic ties with the U.S., and this is something that they would conceivably cancel. The administration would conceivably cancel as a result of this as well. So you're beginning to see that this is going to be an economic strategy, and those costs can be wrapped up.
Hold on a second. Look at this new video. We're just getting in. Video posted on YouTube. Russian helicopters flying over Crimea right
Sochi.
now.
We're still going to bring the word Sochi up, everybody. Sochi. Yes, Will. We have 5 helicopters flying in the sky on YouTube video.
Distraction of the week. Hey, one local resident of the town of Sevastopol who sent us a photo will be getting on air soon. Wolf of tanks in residential neighborhoods.
It's amazing.
Social media, websites, and applications used for social networking.
It's created this uneasy urgency among people, and patience has now gone out the window. It's gone.
You know what also has changed? People's the next generation, younger kids, teens, 20s, have a different sense of time. Studies show they're like much later to places because they feel like they can test at the last minute. I'm going to be 20 minutes late or whatever.
Yeah.
Where before, you were meeting your friends someplace. There wasn't a cell phone. You couldn't call them. You
better get there. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I mean, there is an uneasiness. There is a stressfulness because in this desire, when someone of authority in your life sends you someone or a message or someone you're trying to
social
trust,
media, websites, and applications
feel like you want to get on it right away. And so, some unfinished thoughts go out there, some things with typos, and you're not really presenting your best approach.
You say Facebook is like a nation. Tell me about that.
Well, in sheer numbers, it has 1 billion people. So, that in itself would make it the third largest nation in the world. But as I looked at it, it has citizens, all these people who join. It has its own economy. It has its own currency. Like if you play
it does. That's right.
Games on Facebook.
You buy it. Right?
I have two words for you.
And so it has methods of resolving disputes.
You will never see it coming.
As well as carbon does, and conducts heat better than any other known material. At only 1 atom
I'm
thick,
joking?
It's also the thinnest known material.
Graphene, the smallest
and it's
meaningful
stronger
contrastive
than steel.
unit in a writing system.
Graphene is made
I meant the
of plain old
material
carbon,
graphene.
one of the most common and familiar elements out there. So scientists were surprised to find this new form of carbon had such amazing properties. Carbon comes in many crystalline forms called allotropes. The most well-known are diamond and graphite.
This little clip right here is about graphene. Me and Capo, this actually clip is old because me and Capo done the research on graphene years ago.
Properties.
It's one of the very, very important material. It could be. It's one of the lightweight, strong material.
Overall properties.
It's crazy.
A diamond and a piece of coal are so different that you would never guess that they're both made out of the same element, carbon. In diamond, each carbon atom is connected to 4 other carbons. This is a very strong arrangement that makes diamonds one of the hardest known materials. In graphite, each carbon atom is linked to 3 others in layers of hexagonal shapes that look like chicken wire. The bonds within the hexagonal sheets are strong, but each layer is only weakly attracted to the next, which allows the layers to slip by one another. In 2004, 2 chemists at the University of Manchester in the UK used this property to produce samples of graphene, which helped reveal its remarkable characteristics. They used sticky tape to separate the layers of carbon in graphite. To get an idea of how their technique worked, think of pressing sticky tape onto a piece of graphite and pulling it away, leaving the sticky surface covered with graphite flakes. Then, press the sticky tape to itself and pull it apart. After a few rounds of this, the flakes on the tape would only be a single atom thick, pure graphene. Because graphene is only 1 atom thick, it's considered to be a 2-dimensional material. Despite being the thinnest known material, it's also the strongest material ever tested, 100 times stronger than steel. Let's look at some possible future applications of this amazing material. Graphene is nearly transparent to light. It's also a terrific conductor of electricity. As a result, graphene could be used in combination with other photovoltaic devices to make solar panels that are thin, flexible, and cheap. These light and flexible solar panels could cover the outside of buildings, be molded to fit a car body, or be wrapped around furniture.
EarlyMorningMob.com. Untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources to any promising network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come. It's a demonstration and competition parachute team of the United States Army.
The host, guests, and sources, and it's only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show, EarlyMorningMob.com. See you on the flip D.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 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 All that talking like this, like that, all day in your hood. Golden shows, golden roads, strobe lights, laser lights. Look at my gold, critical tonight. Apple shit, one morning, hold it up. No, he said, we're talking like this, talking like that. We're talking. Golden debate show, golden debate show, golden debate show. We like this, we're talking hood, draw the line. MC better talk with big shots. You know we're coming out the best. Golden show, golden robes, golden boss, golden strokes, golden